And he's using the Korean ID for Squirtle, which is Gobugi, which means turtle. But he's been around a long time. He has seen some really, really big stages. He has, a GSL finalist, somebody who's bounced between StarTale and Incredible Miracles, got a good relationship with the team. But I look at this and I see 5-1 against Protoss, 10-2 this season. TY highly favored here.
That's just a guy, if you look at Zest, it's a guy who started to do a little bit better at the end of round 1 going into round 2. But then you look at TY, he's a guy who's been solid from the very beginning. I believe he was undefeated at like 7-0 or 8-0 for a very long while. And he showed some weakness, but he's still literally one of the best we have here. And we're going to have to see how he plays against the water Pokemon.
Just so much power in this player. I want to talk about his playstyle a lot, but I guess we'll wait until we jump into the game for that. The map is Yeonsu, 2-player map full of aggression. I think both players might butt heads here in the mid game with some timing attacks potentially, especially Squirtle. Squirtle looks stressed out, as any Incredible Miracle player would be in this very tense situation. They need to win today if they want to advance to the playoffs. They're currently in 6th place, and that's only half the battle, but it's the part that they can control. Can't do anything except root for Prime tomorrow.
Yeah, they do have to win this one in order to get into the playoffs, and that is part of the reason why everybody on IM is so stressed, especially the coach. This just means so much for them. They want to get as many points as possible, even if they don't get into the playoffs, to have a better chance at getting into the final playoffs.
This is just like last time for them. They had to get an all kill in order to get the playoffs. They didn't get it. This is a really stressful situation. Let's find out if they can do it. Squirtle versus TY. One of these two teams takes the lead 2-1. Let's find out which one it's going to be.
LTA는 SK텔레콤.
Down here in the bottom left in the blue for Incredible Miracle, the Protoss player, the water Pokemon, Squirtle.
Up to the top right, the Protoss killer, one of our better Pro League players, a Gold Terran. It's TY, otherwise known as Taeyang, formerly known in Brood War, where he was perhaps arguably more famous as Baby.
Yeah, he was just a baby at that time.
He was.
So the name was very fitting. I believe he started at, 11 years old?
Something like that.
Yeah.
As soon as he could micro wraiths, man, he was doing it.
As soon as he could walk.
Now, this is an interesting stat. TY went 7-0 in round 1. We talked about this. He had a little bit of a slump period where he went 3-2. If you look at his overall results, though, they're still insane. But he's not looking as invincible as he did in the previous round.
I mean, even if you look at 3-2 in a match that's, or in a tournament rather, that's filled with super strong players, it's still above 50%. And, hitting, compared to what he was doing at 7-0, you can call it a slump. But he still has the skills to do it.
Yeah, it's true. Now, if you look at how we've seen the Terran players have success in this matchup recently, it's very different than how TY plays his games. Usually he scouts a ton, as we already see him doing right now. He will identify the pylon locations, he will set up bunkers, even if he doesn't feel like there's any reason for it, he just does not skip them. And then he hits these timings in the mid-game where he just drops attacks and his macro is impeccable. Not the type of play that we've seen from Maru, for example, where he is just always on top of attacking, using Widow Mines, just parade pushing. Now that SCV location is interesting. I wonder what he's got planned with that. It could just be that he's checking for proxies still. He might actually hide something.
Yeah, well, no gas used just yet.
Yeah,
starting a Marine, no Reaper going to come out here, so could save up to 100 gas here and throw down that factory.
I think he will. Nothing else really makes sense here. There it is. So it's an out there proxy, not like TY's style that we normally see, and it's is very far away. You know, it's the proxy is the.
It's a very safe proxy. It's not something that's probably going to be scouted. Like I don't foresee Squirtle sending a probe all the way up there, but you know, even so, like it's going to be so far, and it's going to take a while to get whatever comes out of that factory.
Yeah,
to the base of Squirtle.
It's almost like not a proxy.
Yeah.
So
it's like a half proxy.
The word proxy does not actually mean what proxy means in the English language. It's short for proximity, as in close in proximity to your opponent's base. It's a StarCraft term. But this is not that close in proximity. Now, could we see Banshees? No. Gonna start a Hellion. Doesn't have a second gas at home. Hold your horses, Wolf. Don't get too excited.
Well, we could definitely see a dropship coming out.
Yeah, for sure.
And maybe drop some Hellions in the main. Maybe a Widowmine in that mix as well. We're going to have to see.
I'm not a huge fan of this strategy in Heart of the Swarm. It doesn't usually do a ton of damage. It can, especially if you're keen. But I don't know. This is interesting. But we have a Twilight Council coming down. And if that's for DTs, then TY could be in some serious trouble. If that's for Blink, he's going to see this right away, and he's still going to be in a lot of trouble because if at home he only has a few Marines and his stim is extremely delayed, that 1 or 2 medevacs he's going to have out are not going to be what saves him. He's going to have to keep the Protoss at home with his drop play, which is not going to be easy with the drop play that's so focused heavily on Hellions. Yeah. I'm worried for TY here.
I am as well. I feel like this attack has to do a ton of damage in order for it to be worth it. And Squirtle already sending that probe out to the watchtower and sees the Marines coming across. So it could definitely get some preparation done here. We're going to have to see.
Well,
so far,
I was just going to say, I mean, he sees the Marines. That's totally normal for him, right? Because that's the timing that you would see Marines come across to poke at the Nexus. But this Hellion group, he's ready for it. He's read this. Now, the Hellions are still going to ignore the Stalkers and fight here a little bit. Great micro by TY. And the bunker that's going down at the Nexus at the natural is really, really important to note as well. Trying to save some of his units there. There's the overcharge, forcing those Marines back. And has this done enough damage is the question here. Worker count ahead for the Terran with mules, but the attack, I don't think he stops it. Blink is almost done. Widowmines coming out here from that factory. Pretty cute, but with Blink, you can actually dodge the shots.
Yeah. And there's no CC back at home for TY. He has no, second base follow-up even here. And even besides that fact, he's going to have so much trouble stopping this attack.
The Banshee is a great choice. Don't get me wrong, but it's still desperation. I mean, it's like the only thing that he could try to go for here. Stalker's even trying to catch this medevac. They're not going to get it. The Mothership Core is going to cover your Grant Vision. He does have a robotics at home to further give him high ground vision, and besides that, he will be able to detect the Banshees. This game is not over yet. Just remember, there's no stim for these Marines. Stalker's going to beat Marines straight up in a fight. Needs to be very careful. Micro so far very decent.
Yeah, very decent. I mean, he has the Marines very, very close to the rim here, so even if they do want to blink down, can still get some shots. Not taking too much damage, losing a couple of those Stalkers. He is going to blink down, though.
Yeah, I think that was a bit overzealous how he decided to play that. He lost way too much, and don't forget that he's not making pros behind this, so he has 2 next side, but that's only being used for Chrono Boost essentially right now. Does not pay attention here, losing another Stalker to the Widowmine, and TY making miracles happen, man. We'll see. This Widowmine will go down, it looks like.
Yeah, he has the Banshee. He has 1 made right now. Cloak is about to finish, and he's going to have 2. But Squirtle, rather, does have the robotics. He does have the vision for this.
Yeah, but, he only has 1 observer, and he hasn't made any additional ones, of course, since he hasn't lost the first one, no reason to. And 2 Banshees can one-shot a probe back at home. Now, as long as TY survives here, I think he's got this game won. 2 Banshees going to do way too much damage here in the main base. He's not going to have enough time to make a second observer. It's going to take way too long, and damage will be done. If he just runs his probes away, he's going to lose way too much mining time. So all TY needs to do here is make more supply depots and hold on. Now the observer's been started. He's lost already several probes here, and he's losing more mining time by the second.
Yep, none of these probes are mining. He's barely got anything down here at the natural, and the Banshees now are going to come down here. He brings back the Mothership Core, wants to start that overcharge maybe with the observer that does pop out here, but look how much damage is being done. So many probes going down as well. Is going to force it out for now. Loses that Banshee, actually, not what he wanted there, but already doing a ton of damage.
Yeah, and killing some Stalkers even is pretty huge. So bringing the Mothership Core home was actually the saving grace of Squirtle. Without that, he would have lost the Stalkers he warped in and the game would end. But he survives here. Now, the tech between these two players is funny because we have non-stim Marines with siege tanks, which are really good against Blink Stalkers. But with the Blink Stalker, he's going to keep the Terran in his base. He's still on one base, by the way. And with double probe production, Squirtle is going to get ahead in economy again. So there needs to be somehow a way for TY to get some damage done, I would say, with this army he has. He has Banshees to continue to harass as well. It looks like he's going to stick with just one, not making any additional ones. The Stalkers are scary, though. If he leaves with all of his Marines, then he's a little bit vulnerable at home.
Yeah, and this is so interesting out of TY. He does have the minerals here to make a second base, but he has this kind of a 1-1-1 timing, but with like no stim, and he's got Banshees there, like no Raven. It's an interesting push that we're going to see come across the map if he goes for the push.
Yeah, one thing we could, I would like to see is an eBay just drop a turret on the edge of the base, make it easier to defend against any Blink Stalkers coming towards the main. Stim is probably going to be necessary if this game goes much longer, right? I mean, he does have that tech lab now, but it's very late. I love the choice to add more Banshees because if you don't have enough anti-air, you just really struggle to deal with that. If you make too many Stalkers, then the siege tanks and the Marines have a great time against that. He's even bringing a few SCVs here for the repair. And don't forget, he still has Cloak, so if he loses his observers to scans, then that's going to be a big problem.
Oh boy, trying to get that medevac. The medevac does escape there, and with those SCVs you were talking about, can definitely repair there. Taking some damage on the Stalkers is Squirtle, and look at this. This is going to be so scary, actually.
He's targeting down those Stalkers here. A few Stalkers blink forward, but next to siege tanks. Storm is coming out. He got a Forge as well. He might want to consider adding some cannons at the natural. But right now, that's not really the plan here of TY. Loses both Banshees, I would say, a little bit carelessly. More Immortals coming out.
Could definitely have been a bit safer with that. Even taking some hits on that Banshee as well. He's got to move him back. Marine also almost goes down as well.
This is like StarCraft 1 instincts coming in here for TY, I feel. He's like playing this the way you would play it in Brood War with siege tanks, but unfortunately with the Mothership Core and how Blink Stalkers work, I don't think he's getting any more done here. I'd really like to see him try to push forward more directly at the natural, and Storm is going to finish. Cannon is up. He's going to try to target down these Templar, it looks like, but that cannon should be able to save it.
Does get one, but he's going to lose the Banshee for it.
Pretty even trade.
Yep.
All right, let's see how much damage he gets done here. Could try to target down the Observer if he scans, but he would rather probably just lift these Marines out, I would say. Okay, forces the overcharge.
And I'd love to either see him go to the natural you were talking about or just back off here. I mean, it doesn't seem like he's doing much. Even the feedback going down here, and these 4 Marines are going to go down. They do get a Templar, which is very nice, but he is going to back off for now.
He's actually just going all the way home. Worker count is now 40 to 33. The tech is catching up right now for TY with a stamina +1. This game has been pretty unique. We never really commentate games like this. I feel like I've stepped into a time portal back to like 2011 right now, and we have like siege tanks, marauders, and Marines on the map without stim, and like the Terran players trying to recover, like trying to catch up in tech. The Pross got Immortals.
Yeah, a very weird game to say the least.
You know what I mean? Like it feels like we just watched a Pross player defend a 1-1-1, but it was like totally different than that because he actually made siege tanks to defend Blink after he went for proxy Hellions. Storm drop over here is scouted. Let's see how he responds. He's actually sending a small group of units out of home, leaving most of his siege tanks.
Yeah. I wonder if he did actually say that Warp Prison because he's going to need to get some defense of that natural before those 2 High Templar get in there. So far, nothing here. Could do a bunch of damage if he's not ready for it.
Let's find out. Here we go. Templar number 1, number 2. Storms go down. A late pull. Several SCVs killed, many critically injured. And he's actually going to save the Templar for now. Turrets being started immediately, so it doesn't look like he actually saw that Warp Prism earlier. Third base gets dropped here a little bit faster. Consider, though, that TY has his own 3rd command center completing.
Yeah, the one thing he doesn't have much of, though, is SCVs. I mean, he does have the mules here, and he's going to have a bunch more with that 3rd orbital command coming around, but he is down significantly in workers right now.
It's really funny, actually, that he continues to produce using that reactor from the factory earlier. Will actually kill this Nexus. Gonna force a cancel on that pylon 2 most likely. Oops, bit of a mistake there by Squirtle. And saves the majority of his units, loses only 2 Marauders. The cost of the pylon's basically made up for that. So here we go again. This time the Marines are ready. And a Widow Mine. No damage done here.
No damage. Both Templar go down as well as the War Prison. Not a good trade there for Squirtle.
Very expensive. You know, he made it work earlier. Now this trap here, that's actually pretty cool. I think he's going to get some damage done here. He baits. 1 Stalker, 2 Stalkers, and most of his Marines. Nah, that didn't really work out.
No, not. I mean, it was cute, but not so much damage there.
I like the idea of that, but not trying to bait into it. That was a bit strange.
Yeah.
TY is losing ground faster and faster in this game right now, Brendan. He's behind in tech. Like, he has 1 Viking out to help with Warp Prism drops. If if he wanted to switch to Colossi, that would be a problem, but he's not going to because he doesn't need to. TY is trying to do damage with these drops, but we're at the stage of the game where drops just get shut down so hard. There's just so much control with the Blink Stalkers, with High Templar, with the Nexus Cannon. I
mean, Squirtle has just been given enough time to get the tech up to, push himself out of that mid-game harass that the Terran can do to him. He even has a bunch of cannons here at the 3rd base and at the main. And he's going to be pretty safe for a while here. This medevac kind of awkwardly standing there. I'm not sure if that's a bad rally or what.
Possibly. Maybe he just wants to use it to scout and just boost away. Bit risky, though. Look at the upgrades. 1-1 already for Squirtle versus just the +1 for TY. We all know how Protoss works and how fast you can actually chrono boost. Looks like he's considering doing some sieging up over here to try to hit some of these structures. Not a bad choice. Don't really see siege tanks on this map all too often, so could definitely work out. At least do some damage. He needs something. He needs to swing the momentum in his favor in some way. There's that Colossus transition. I say he didn't have to, but he has the economy now to easily do it. And now TY has neither Ghosts nor Vikings to contest.
Yeah, he's not really got much of anything here. This is basically his army besides what was in those 2 dropships, those 2 medevacs.
Which, by the way, will be scouted by this Warp Prism, it appears.
Oh, does see that 1 medevac. Not sure if he noticed it, though.
He's got a pretty good idea of what's going on here. He's like, oh, you have siege tanks? I don't think so. I'm not letting this happen.
No, he's already prepared for this and already killing that rocks. It looks like a decent storm going down there, killing a bunch of Marines as well.
That's just free damage there. There was no trade involved. Not sure what happened. TY has fallen apart here. The thing is, there's no way for him to really get a good edge in this game. He's just so far behind that even if he played better than any StarCraft 2 player could ever play, I don't see how he comes back here. He's gonna have to force a huge mistake out of Squirtle, who's now taking a 4th base here at this location. Can he force a cancel? Maybe. Don't even know if he sees that. He's really concerned about this Warp Prism right now, which will be saved. Stalkers can blink in a second. Okay.
And he's not even moving the Viking. He's gonna lose it there as well. More focused on getting this Nexus canceled. Definitely more important.
For sure.
And he's going to get it canceled. Yep.
Nice. More Vikings being added now. Another storm goes down. Doesn't get a ton of kills.
That 1 Marauder just trying to kill the rocks gets killed.
This Colossus count is going to be deadly. Plus, he's going to be up a set of upgrades pretty soon, too. He's getting the shield upgrade, which is going to affect all sorts of things. Even the buildings, the Warp Prism. I don't know. This is looking pretty bad for TY. He's down as a Terran player in army supply. He's even in workers, which means he has a great economy, but he doesn't have a 4th base to saturate it with, and
he's going to have to pull off a miracle here. That's basically what's going to happen. He has a ton of Widow Mines. That's basically all he's got. He's got 3 Vikings on the map for 6 Colossi, and we're going to have to see some very neat micro tricks or just have Squirtle not attack for 10 minutes. This isn't really what Squirtle wants to do. Well, actually, he's going to get some of these ghosts here. Gets 1, could actually get another one here.
Oh my god, those Widow Mines could actually damage the bio as well. Well, that was...
I thought Squirtle was just going to throw away his units there, but actually getting a ghost is decent.
Oh, he's just so ahead that throwing away Zealots doesn't hurt him too much. +3 is about to finish for these 6 Colossi. 6 Colossi.
He just walks over the Widow Mine. He's like, oh yeah, whatever.
TY is in trouble. That's an understatement. This placement of these depots is pretty nice. It's going to buy him a little bit of time. But, I mean, he just doesn't have enough Vikings. They're not even close. There's a lack of stalkers on the other hand, so he's able to zone pretty well.
Yeah, Squirtle being a bit hesitant here actually is going to back off for now.
He just doesn't have enough to deal with the Vikings, funny as it is. He could try to ignore them, but with the building placement by TY, those depots are spread out for a reason. It's to minimize splash damage from the Colossi. Notice they're like spread out just enough so that each Colossus can only shoot one. This is going to be an expensive loss here.
Yeah, just a couple of siege tanks there out in the open, getting lost for free there. And now Squirtle seems to want to make his push away from where TY had that very nice building set up. Ghost trying to come in here, very nice snipe, is going to get that one High Templar.
Really like to see just a few more Colossi in the mix. He has a lot of Templar for Storm. I mean, excuse me, I did say Colossi. I think I meant to say, I know I meant to say Stalkers. I'm not sure what I said there, but Depot harassment here coming up as well. He's just drawing some of the forces back. He's trying to get into a good position here. Those SCVs are trying to escape by attacking rocks. I think they're going to meet their fate here, as will that Viking.
Oh, man. All roasted to crisp instantly at +3 on the Colossi.
+2 shields coming up soon. This is just too many Colossi. It's like actually almost too many Colossi like to have in his composition. Because now he's being pretty hard countered by the Vikings. He does add a few more Stalkers in. Gonna catch these Ghosts.
Yeah, Ghosts, 3 of them going down there as well. No EMPs as well. Chasing is TY and wants to take a fight here, fighting with a lot of his Vikings, trying to take down as many of the Colossi before engaging with the bio. Is going to kite here. Like you were mentioning, not too many of these Stalkers, already taken down 3 Colossi. Is TY backing up over a bunch of these Widow Mines.
The Archons seem to be enough, though. You know, he's done so much damage here. The Viking count is now small enough to where he can kill the rest of his Stalkers without even really worrying about the Archons. These rocks were never destroyed earlier, so he can't use them to defend. GG and Squirtle with another upset today. IM is going hard. They want to win, and they're going for it. 2-1 now, just 1 win away. I don't know what's going on in the KT team house, but they are certainly not looking as strong as they did in round number 1.
Yep, that's exactly correct. Having Squirtle take out TY here, TY, a guy we were praising so much. TY actually going down to Squirtle here is kind of very surprising for me, but I am obviously practicing so much for these matches, showing some really good games so far. A bit of a strange game there, you know, to start things off, but
I really don't like to say things like this, but I don't like the build. I don't think it's good in Heart of the Swarm, really, that we saw TY do.
Well, I agree. I would have rather seen him play a lot more standard. It didn't really do much damage.
It's like the idea was, I never do builds like this. I always just play defensively, and I'm just a better game player on the macro. I defend Frost attacks and win the game. And I feel like TY was just trying to say, like, I can do other builds besides that. I'm going to throw him off here. But not only did he not do damage with his Hellions, but he was up against an aggressive build that, had he gone for a normal strategy, would have defended easily, I would say, with his skills, which is what we've seen from him in the past. And now, IM